Morning, Eric.
Well, okay, we have a red letter day. It's a term my grandmother used to use. A red letter day because we have the great Janet Rogers with us. Janet, what are you going to do today?
Well, I'm going to prepare. I would like to have people not be afraid to do a portrait.
Okay, so show me what you've got right there. Oh, look at that.
This
That's
is
beautiful.
one
So
of the
tell me what that
exercises.
is.
This is just a profile, just to do an eye, a nose, and a mouth of features. And I would like to explain the features and flesh tones today.
Okay, so you're going to show us the basic things that we need to be able to do a portrait, flesh tones, features. You're not going to get into all the depth, but you're going to show them some of the steps. All right, so why don't we do this? Let's get started with this right now. If you'll switch your camera out, we'll just go ahead and get into this. While you're doing that, welcome to Art School Live, everybody. Okay, Janet, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Eric. And thanks for having me. Today, I want to show you just a little bit what I do in the workshops first I give a head lesson on head construction, and then I have exercises. I think exercises are less intimidating. So a blind contour, I have them look at the photograph, but not the paper.
What does that mean? What is a blind contour?
Okay, so you hold your pencil like this, and you're not looking at your paper at all. You're just looking at the portrait. So it's going across, blind cross contour, going across, back and forth, starting at the top of the head, coming down and going across very slowly, so that you're feeling the depth of the portrait and the head. It becomes three-dimensional. What makes it three-dimensional is the light source, and that comes from up in here.
Right.
Okay, so once they do that, and then I have them do gesture warm-ups, and this is the other.
Wait, leave it there. That's beautiful.
Oh, well, this is a quick, 5-minute gesture of this after you do the blind contour.
Are you going to show us how to do that?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right.
And then I'm going to show you the features, or the one color exercise too. I will show that. That's just it's not very, controlled, but it's without drawing. So you notice that you leave that white puck. Yeah. And that's it's just so you're familiar with the paints and all that stuff.
Okay, so, what else are you going to do?
I'm going to show the features like this, and then put a first wash on, I call it a head case. And usually I have, I'm going to put the flesh tones on a drawing. Okay. So it can be, I'm thinking it's probably good to trace. This is why I have this drawing, which is more finished, and you can trace on a window or anything like that, and just put that on the window. Put your watercolor paper on top, 140-pound paper on top of it, and voila, you have your.
Okay, so we're going to learn a lot today, Janet.
Okay.
I am really, really excited. This is a great way to start the new year, by learning how to do a portrait. By the way, if you're not a watercolor artist, this is still going to be very valuable to you, but you're going to learn how to do it in watercolor. But some of these exercises, anybody's going to need. So let's do this. We'll get the show officially started. Let's do this.
Okay.
It's Art School Live with Eric Rhodes. Now, here's your host, Eric Rhodes.
First day back after the New Year's break and the Christmas break. Last time I saw you guys was on the Christmas Spectacular. So I'm actually at my studio in Florida now, and spending a part of the winter here. So it's going to be great. Anxious to touch base with you guys in the comments and to see you, get to know you. We're here every weekday. Art School Live teaches you things about art. Even if you don't believe that you have it in you or that you have the talent, we're going to prove you wrong. We're going to show you that you actually can learn to paint or draw. So please keep this channel, check us out, subscribe, and we'll see you every day at 12 noon, every weekday at 12 noon. Okay. Now, we have prizes today, and all you got to do to win a prize is to put a comment in the comment section today. Our prize is the world famous easel brush clip. No more falling brushes. Clip it onto the side of your studio or plein air easel. And that's terrific. We had a bunch of winners after our last show. I'm not going to list them all. We gave away $5,000 worth of prizes. But the last other show, the winner of my book, Dolores Testerman in Tucson, Arizona. We have a free gift for you today. It's called Watercolor Mastery. It's an ebook. Just go to AmericanWatercolor.net/ebook. Make sure to get that. Okay. Now we're going to go back to Janet Rogers. Janet, are you ready to teach?
I am ready.
Okay, go for it. You are on. What are you doing?
This is an exercise. I'm just putting a little frame on this because what I'm going to do is work. Here's my brush and my palette is on there. So you can see this is the loading zone. This is the source. And I'm going
to interrupt and ask questions before you go too far. People are going to say, okay, what kind of brush, what kind of paper, what are these palettes? They look like plastic trays.
It's just, these are actually Jasper trays, but you can get them in a dollar store or something, a flat surface. Or if you prefer to have your own palette, it's fine to just have a mixing area in there. And this is, I'm going to be just trying to do a quick value study. I'm kind of pulling a little bit here. So I'm getting loaded.
Now, there are people watching who don't know what a value study is.
Okay. A value study is lights and darks. So what I'm trying to do is, this is very loose. What my goal is to leave a little bit of the softening, a little bit of gesture, the softening of edges, and then put where the darks are. But I want to leave the white pop that you see in. I like to have one light source as a sample, and I'm going to squint because squinting really helps. Okay, move a little bit over here. And I know this doesn't look like much, but it's good to have this, if you can, to have to do this exercise without drawing, so that I'm pulling all of this shadow together, meaning a value on the side of the face. And you're going to wonder, what in the world is she doing? That's the little dark there, little dark for the eye. And that's about it. I don't want to do too much in a value. I don't want to break it up into all the values that you normally see in a painting.
Why am I doing this?
To see that white shape.
Okay, but if I just would decide to just go ahead and start the portrait, why not just do it then?
No, it's too intimidating.
Oh.
I don't know about other people, but to me, it helps to do all these little exercises to get you to see. If you can't see, you can't do it. Okay, let's pull that down.
You know, this is a really great idea. I never thought of doing this.
And this you can do with anything that you're painting. I mean, it could be a still life. Now, what I'm doing here is softening edges. So I'm using a little more water on the brush. Say, you could even do a background if you want to. Let's leave that a little lighter over on that section. And I don't have to do, I can just make this a little darker over here, because this is where you want to look. at the eye.
You know, Janet, I have done this show every day since COVID began, every weekday, and I learn something new every single time, including what you're doing here.
Yes. Oh, thank you. This just gives you a little idea. Now, what you want to do is be aware to soften edges, meaning,
Why?
let me go in a little bit so I can show you how to soften an edge. Softening an edge is because it lets your eye say, go ahead, or it says stop. Now, your eye will stop around here, but maybe we'll soften an edge so that you can have the connection. Let's put a little bit of a shadow right there. Maybe a little shadow on the side. And finish this off real quick. And we have a dark, I'm going to have a dark top in there. So that's about it. That's all I'll show you on this exercise because I have a lot to show you. Let me take that off and continue on with my next exercise, which is the flesh tones. Flesh tones, and you will notice from what I'm doing. Also, I'm using the wrong side of the Arches paper. It's 140 cold press. That's what I'm using. But I'm going to take this palette away, and you'll see my other palettes that I use. It's not always not easy to show them, but let me put that here. Okay, now let's
Why are you using the wrong side of the Arches paper? Asked Karen Pulver.
The wrong side of the Arches paper is because it's a little rougher. It's a little bit rougher. I'm going to try to get this taped down a little bit better.
So why do you want it a little rougher?
Because it takes the watercolor differently, and it's only the Arches paper that has that problem, it seems. I'm going to tape that down so that doesn't move on me.
So you're looking for a rougher surface.
I am, because it takes the watercolor differently. And you'll see in a minute how I make flesh tones. We're going to make a flesh tone now.
Can
So
you describe what these colors are that you have out?
Right. These are Aurelian yellow. Any transparent. These are all transparents pretty much. And you can see how I have them like oil painters and acrylic painters. They always have their papers out, their paints out. And I think that's kind of neat. So I'm trying to take a little bit of the permanent rose and a yellow, which will make, now the key in this making swatches, you say, what's the purpose of that? And that is so that you can get used to playing, because I think this should be fun. And you can soften edges, meaning it's, I'm stumbling over myself because I have so much to tell you, but I'm kind of pulling that edge out there. See, and that makes a lighter value. As long as that's wet, I can keep going over this. Now I'm going to put a little bit more yellow over that. But I usually paint with a little bit more angle, but for purposes online, I think it's better to do this. And you don't want to press down. This is the key that I find most people press down.
Wait. Say that again in a different way.
A lot of people press the brush down into the paper with the pressure of the brush. It's more like a butterfly pressure, not
again, nobody ever told me that, and I watched Watercolor Live for 3 years.
It's the pressure. Okay, if I were to press down, I'm going to just show you what happens when you press down. That's awful. That pushes the pigment into the paper. Now I'm going to try to lift that off with some water. Okay, so that's the permanent rose. So we want, this controls the value. You can see how that's running down more and how it connects.
It feels more transparent.
Exactly. And you can see what's underneath it. I think I started out as a pastel painter, which I loved, but I didn't know how to. I loved the idea with pastels to see the underneath color come through. And that's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
I'm throwing the blue in. I threw in a little cerulean blue hue and or cobalt, something plain. So I have my, it's almost like music. If you have everything laid out, you can control it. You can go with it. Oh, I forgot the most important one. Let me do this again. Put this down, or the Aurelian and permanent rose. Put that down. So I'm going to try to relax and show you this. Okay, so we have that. Put a little more pink in there. If you can see that little bit of shifting of color. Now I'm showing Janet's Violet Rose. Can you see it over here in my palette? I have that here. Best color ever made.
What's it called?
Janet's Violet Rose.
Oh, is that your own color?
Yes.
Wow. Aren't you? I'm impressed.
So I'm very, it's like a butterfly. Just kind of lay it on there and then let it mix on the paper. And now that's a little bit bright. So maybe we went a little more yellow in there. But what doesn't have to be like flesh is transparent and translucent. And you can see all different colors in there. Oops, I had a little too much yellow on there. So let me put, and depending on how you approach this, you could wet it first. You could wet. These are just exercises. So you can kind of feel what you should do. Say you're scared.
Well, and the nice thing is that you're learning it. You're experimenting before you try to start the portrait.
Exactly. I'm going to put some more color on here. Now they're a little orange. And I'm going to put a little bit more of the Janet's Violet Rose over there.
You need to get me a tube or two of that.
You might enjoy it.
I will. I was painting watercolor florals last night.
Oh.
And realized that I was pushing too much into the paper, but I also needed that color, and I didn't have it.
It really is a little bit more of an opaque color. It's semi-transparent, but that's the only one that's a little like that. How about if I put some lavender in here? So I'm making lavender out of the cobalt blue and permanent rose. Can you see it up there in my palette? And I'm always in the water. You can't see the water, but when I go off screen, I'm loading, and you'll see a paper towel all the time. Okay, it's just shifting a little bit. Yeah. So, and this may be a little, I don't want to spend too much time on that.
Well, that's it, but it feels like flesh.
That's the key. And then to be able to soften an edge, you're going to put a little bit more pressure with a brush, lifting it so that it allows that paint to kind of slowly move over to that wetness. And then I'm going to show you how to put the flesh tone in the first wash.
Okay. Cool.
or a head case. This is a pretend painting. It's not a real painting. No, you just have to tell yourself that. Now I've traced the drawing, and so what I'm going to do, like I did the first or the value thing. Remember how I did that without drawing? So I'm going to put the flesh tone on here now.
Are we keeping you from something? I noticed you looked at your watch.
No, I just I wanted to make sure I would. Okay.
I'll keep you on track. You don't need to
Okay,
worry.
keep me on track, Eric. Okay. Now you notice that I'm working with that paper towel. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to soften that edge. I'm going to pre-wet it just right there. And if your loading zone gets too loaded, you can just clean that up. I think I'll just do a little bit of the orangey kind of thing, mixing the permanent rose and Aurelian, because that's a little warmer up there. But she's got some, I think I'll put the flesh tone on there. That permanent rose or Janet's violet rose. Okay. That color doesn't look too bad. I'm going to go ahead and put a little more pink on there. And then try to lift it off a little bit.
Good trick.
Think I'm going to,
That's
all right. You never know. I have students that come down and put the whole thing on one color and then go back and try to fix it. It's too late. So let's just take our time.
All right.
Put a little lavender in there around the eyes. Maybe put, lift that a little bit. How about maybe we'll take a little bit of cerulean blue hue, which is over here on the side. It's a little, I used to use cerulean blue. Now that looks too dark, too wonky. I'm going to.
Kind of like a Mardi Gras mask.
Yeah, Mardi Gras. So let's lift that off. And let's put a little bit of the violet rose over top of it. Maybe lift that off. Maybe put a little yellow in there. I'm adjusting that color. But notice I'm not going to, I'm going down and down the paper. So I'm having fun because we've played with the swatches. Okay, let's pick that up. Now, the key is not to go back in there. That's done.
Okay.
Now let's see, this should be lighter. So maybe I'll just lift that out.
Keep that paper towel handy.
Exactly. Let's pull this down. So what I'm doing is making a shadow shape, which is, I'm following that. Like I said, this is a pretend painting. I like to try to get a little bit of three-dimensional painting in here if I can.
So you're saying it's pretend painting, so you don't take it so seriously that if you screw it up, you're okay.
Okay, but
Every painting I do is a pretend painting.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, let me move that down a little bit more. Sometimes I do just a, when I do a head case instead of tracing it, but sometimes people don't know how to do a head case, make it up.
People have told me that I am a head case.
That's pretty good. Well, I already know I am. That's okay. Soften that edge. Soften that edge by lifting a little bit. Okay. Maybe we'll come over here and there's a little shadow from her hair. Push that.
Really beautiful.
Push that back. And it's very light, but it gives you an idea, and always bring it down into the neck if you can. Okay. Maybe soften that edge around the chin. So softening edges is part of it.
And can you soften edges later after they've dried?
It's a little harder.
Okay.
I just never want to bother doing that. That's scrubbing. I don't
Grubby.
I don't like to do that. So I'd rather do it this way or let it go. And this is just a pretend painting. Okay, so that's the let me go a little closer.
Nice.
The blue doesn't show up as much, but that's okay. Okay, let's go out a little bit. Oops. I want you to be able to see the model.
Okay, so what are you going to do next?
Okay, now next I'm going to do the big eye, nose, and mouth, the one that the features.
Okay, so why don't we do this?
Okay.
Janet, I'm going to give you a break.
All right.
And you'll be right back to do that feature thing. Show us the drawing real quickly of what you're going to show us.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're gonna show how to do that as soon as we get back, and and I love it. I hope you guys are having a really good time today. I'm Eric Rhodes, and this is Art School Live. We're here every weekday at 12 noon, and our guest today is Janet Rogers. Janet is going to be a guest on Watercolor Live, which is our big international online art conference. It's the biggest art conference in the world. Have a massive audience of instructors from all over the world. We have 30 top artists who are going to be teaching. We have an essentials day for people who don't know any of this, so we can get you through the basics. And we just want you to look at this real quickly. I love Watercolor Live. I have become a watercolor addicted fiend. It's insane. That's all I've been painting lately. And I've learned so much from Watercolor Live, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm like, now I have some stumbling blocks that I'm like, how do I get beyond those? And so I'm really excited about it. Hey, I wanted to tell you guys also our convention, the Plein Air Convention from Plein Air Magazine, is coming up in May at the Great Smoky Mountains in North Carolina. This is not online. We're not doing it online at all this year. It's only in person. And there are only 62 seats left. Did I say that? 62 seats left. The East is ruling, baby. Everybody said, bring it east of the Mississippi, and we did. And now there's only 62 seats left. So govern yourselves accordingly, right? pleinairconvention.com. Now we're going to get right back to Janet Rogers, and she's just blowing me away today. I am so excited about this. I want to do all of this.
This is fun. This is fun. Thank you, Eric. I'm going to be drawing just a big features. So right now, because this is what I did to practice. So a little bit of flesh tone, but mainly focusing on the features a little bit. So let's do an eye. I'm not doing her eye. I'm just making this up. So say you have an eyeball underneath there, and here's the iris coming around here. And then we're going to come down and we're going to do a nose. We're going to draw a nose so that the focus is here. So I'm hoping you can see a little bit. I do keep it a little light, so but you will see it when I do the painting. But I want you to see what I'm doing now with the drawing. I'm going to make a mouth. And so in my workshops that I teach, I do teach a little bit of the drawing first. So you get familiar with the features and the three-dimensionality, and I want to make my people come alive. So that, and this is the philtrum. This is the mouth. This is a little bit of you can see it on the photograph here. It's a little lighter. And then the two lips together, they don't really connect together. I mean, they're not a mirror image of each other. Usually the bottom lip is a little bit bigger. Let's put the little, okay. Now I'm going to put in the highlights because I don't want to, like I did before, the things that show up. The highlights on the nose, the light source. If you put a little arrow on, and always be aware of your light source, that really helps. I like the idea of watercolor live because watercolors to me are very alive. And I want to show that aliveness in the portraits. So the key is to have fun, first of all, and not be so serious that you ruin your play. Okay, I have a kneaded eraser in case I need in case I need it. Maybe that's why they call it that. Okay. All right. So in the nose, if you draw a circle around that nose, that gives you a little bit of three-dimensionality. So going around that, I always put a little bit of a pencil mark in there. And then the eyes, with the eyes, and if we have time, I can show you a little bit more about that. But let's see, what color should we make the eyes? This is just a pretend head. So I'm going to use.
Okay, well, let's ask the audience what color eyes they want. All right, put it in the comments. What color eyes do you want? Go, hurry, because she doesn't have to wait for you. Green so far.
Green.
Well,
I can change it.
Brown. Hazel. Green. Purple.
Purple.
Bloodshot. Only Kevin McPherson would say that.
Yeah.
Gray. Brown. Okay, well, I guess, Janet, we're going to leave it up to you.
Okay.
Green, blue, hazel, purple.
Let's do a hazel.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to get some green on here. I'm using a pointy brush. It's a max round or ultra round brush where it's very pointy. And I'm going to cover the whole iris. Now light is coming through the eye. Now that's boring to make it one color. So I'm going to drop in.
I didn't want to say that.
A little cobalt. Let's just drop that in. Okay, a little more. How about this cerulean blue hue?
Okay.
Is
that a synthetic brush?
Yes, it is. It's a synthetic brush. It's a golden tack line, I think.
Quit looking at your watch.
That was a call coming in.
You have a doctor's appointment?
No, that was my granddaughter.
You're too young to have a granddaughter.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Let's put that. Okay, this is a little bit of the dark ultramarine blue. See, that's my palette that I have, and all transparents. These are combinations. I forgot to tell you that. Combinations, this is a light value, a mid value, and this is a dark value over here in this section.
So there are some people in the comments who've said, they don't really know how to draw. Obviously, everybody should learn that, but is there a way so they can cheat it at least to kind of get some result?
Oh, they can trace the photo. If you put your photograph on and you print it on your printer with, I'm trying to think, just with regular paper, you could probably see more through the paper.
Okay.
The light.
Put it on a light box or something.
Or you can you can trace it. I think most portrait painters, truthfully, will project a drawing, at least to try to get it. And like when I did commissions, I would always trace it so that if it's a commission for somebody, you don't want to have it, you don't want to goof up and have it look funny. So that's another option that you could work with. You could work with just tracing, projecting it, having a digital image and projecting it on a piece of paper and trace it that way. Then I suggest, though, the fun thing is the drawing. So if you can practice it, it just means practice. That's all.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah. Okay. This looks a little green. I'm going to go back to the blue. Maybe I can go up here and cheat and put a little bit more blue in it. Okay. Then making it darker. Let me zero in a little bit more so you can see. How about a little yellow?
How about it?
What if we put the yellow in there? Because light travels through that. You want them to look translucent, the eye.
So the reality is that everybody was right. There's a little green, a little hazel, a little yellow, a little purple, a little blue.
It doesn't matter. I spend a lot of time on the eyes. When I was little, I used to draw eyes all the time. Okay, now I'm going out and trying to find a black. So how do I make black? I'm taking a little bit of the dark purple and a little bit of the dark green over here, mixing them together to get black. So this is really 6 colors with the addition of Janet's Violet Rose and the cerulean blue hue. But if you want, you can just keep mixing that together till you get a neutral, and that's a tertiary color. Say maybe a little more of the blue, the ultramarine. If you can also tell what is on your brush by tapping it. There's not a lot of water. So even though this is wet, we can put that pupil in. It's if it starts to float all over the place, you know, you probably it was still too wet. Okay, so I think I have to change that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to lift it. Those things happen. No stress. Okay.
No drama. We don't allow drama.
Let's come back to that. Okay, here's the eyelashes. You don't really want to count eyelashes, so never want to count anything. Let's put a little bit of. Okay, I'm gonna change my paper towel because it's all wet.
All right.
Yep. It's a little bit neutral. But I like to create color with just a few colors, and then it looks more natural, I think. I'm going to take away that. Maybe you want to knock down the white of the eye too. So I'm putting a little bit of flesh tone in there. And let's take a little cerulean blue, put that over top of it. Okay, that looks really dark. So I'm going to just rinse my brush and lift it off. So that what I've done is just eliminate the intensity of that white. So that the highlight is really stronger. Okay. Take a little bit. I think I'll move on and come back to that. Let's do flesh tones. I'm going to change my brush into a rounder brush. And hold that. Well, that looks a little bit too orangey. So I'm going to knock it down with that because this side is getting a little bit more shadow. I'm just doing the features now. That's all. Okay, let's do a little lavender.
So you're at about, you've got about total of 10 or 12 more minutes total.
Okay, thank you. 10 or 15 minutes.
About 10.
Okay.
And Janet is going to be teaching on Watercolor Live. What are you going to be teaching?
Portraits.
Portrait. Okay. We'll get more depth and the full enchilada on Watercolor Live.
Yeah. It'll be a portrait demonstration. And I invite everybody to come. And if you can, you could get a 10% discount and sign up.
Janet.
Just put Rogers.
No, Janet. Janet. Oh, maybe you're right.
So there's a little voice in the background whispering something to you.
Probably the wrong thing.
Yes, it's the wrong thing. It's my husband. He's saying they can say Janet, and it's Rogers.
Okay, you're right.
So what they put that in as a discount code?
Yeah, discount code. If you want. And any of you that haven't signed up already.
Yeah.
And then we have workshops, and Steve and I teach in France too. And I got workshops all over the United States. And that
I'm going to look. I'm coming. This is too good to miss.
See, so what I'm doing is trying to keep that white on the nose. And let's get, this is the mouth. That's a little bit more lipsticky. That's a word.
It is. Highly technical term.
A technical. This is important to learn the terms.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I mean, you could just frame that almost as it is. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Well, it's fun to do these if you want to. I don't have people doing them in workshops, although sometimes they can. I can show it sometimes. And
I'm doing this tonight,
yeah,
except
good.
I won't have my my special Janet's Violet Rose.
Oh, well, you have to get that, Eric.
Well, I'm on the Cheap Joe's website, but I got to stay on the show here, and
Yeah, no,
and Cheap
may
Joe's
be-
is always a sponsor at Watercolor Live. So go there, spend money. They appreciate it. Tell them where you heard about it.
that's right. Okay. See, I'm putting a little bit of the
Put too
Elizabeth.
much in there, she's going to have a cold.
I know, but be careful. Okay, now I want to get the chin in a little bit.
Okay, in the comments, who's going to try this sometime in the next couple of days?
Who's going to?
Yeah, we'll ask them in the comments. Tell us if you're going to do it. Have people watching from all over the world today, Janet.
Good.
Make sure you tell us where you're watching from, folks.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
And you've been so good, even though I can't hear you. But Eric knows you.
Yeah, every one of them personally.
Yes.
They're all good friends. One thing that's really been wonderful is because we've been doing the show together, we have several hundred people who show up every day, no matter what, live, and then, you know, up to 250,000 people who watch on replays. You said you were nervous. There's no reason to be nervous. Only 250,000 people.
No.
Well, hello, India.
I'm just trying to.
Anyway, we've all gotten to know each other really well. It's really been fun.
That's good. That's good. I've lost the color of the. If you lose the color, I'm dropping in a little bit of that cerulean blue hue to just bring the color back up of the eye, because you want to, you know, it just would be nice. And then again, you can tell I always have the paper towel in my hand because I'm taking some of that moisture off. So another key is keeping that moisture controlled. Here's the, oops. Maybe there's a little bit of warmth in there. Maybe a little more. Okay, and I think maybe I'll leave it. Sometimes you have to let watercolor be where it wants to be. And instead of trying to make everything perfect. By the way, my husband and I were talking about being perfect the other day, and it isn't really very good to be perfect.
Well, that's the benefit of watercolor, because you can get that randomness that just happens.
That's right. And then I say, if you want to be perfect, first of all, realize that you can't be. So you might as well enjoy playing. And I can't think of any other way to play, but to just let it be fun for you. Okay. Instead of difficult, there's no, you know, there's no, it's seeing that you want to have happen.
Hello, Italy. What happens the minute I start mentioning names, people start putting where they're from in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we have Italy here.
Yeah, Italy, India, Norway, England,
Cool.
several Italies.
Cool. Okay. I'm trying to get a little bit of pushback on that eye socket to and
No, watercolors don't dry as dark as when they first go in. Is that right?
no, I know that's something I still have problems with, but
Yeah.
let's put a little bit of darker red down in here and between the mouth, the lips. It's two lips together. They move together. Okay.
You know how to get two lips? Go to Holland.
I know. I knew you were going to say
I'm
that.
sorry.
Now that I know that.
Corny joke of the first corny joke of the year.
Yeah. You just had to say that.
I couldn't resist.
Let's do that little bit of that.
South India, hello.
Okay, let's darken that a little bit. This is just a pretend painting too. You know, these are all pretend. If something's too bright, you can knock it down a little bit, neutralize it a little bit. But then you want to have pure color where you can. I think I better put a little more, bringing that color out in the nose. You know, if you didn't put that shadow in there, whenever the nose is going back under, you have to put a darker. Because if you don't, it
doesn't read.
No, doesn't read. It's not three-dimensional. So the key is to try to get things three-dimensionally. Okay. Okay, let's get a little more. Remember, it faded a little bit. Oops, too much yellow. So I'm going to lift that out. Okay.
Okay, Janet, we're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay. I gave one more thing.
And then you're going to come back on camera so people can see your smiling face.
Right. I will. I will. I will come back.
How about applause, thumbs up for Janet?
Thank
Outstanding.
you. Let me see.
Janet, that is amazing.
Thank you. Well, it was fun. And it was fun to meet you, Eric. And I wish you well with Watercolor Live. I can't wait to be there and enjoy meeting everybody.
Well, what's nice about Watercolor Live is that people will actually be able to meet you, talk to you, chat with you, get answers to questions, and also interact. And so it's a wonderful chance. Janet, you are a rock star. I just want to acknowledge you and how fabulous you are. What an inspiration you are. You've got workshops, you've got books. We'll make sure we put links to all of that in the comments. But what a fabulous, accomplished talent you are. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Eric, for having me, and enjoy, everybody. I hope you don't be afraid to paint portraits. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Our guest today has been Janet Rogers, and Janet is a rock star. We're really happy and honored that she would be on the program with us. Remember that we're here every day at 12 noon weekdays, and you should subscribe on YouTube. Why? Why not? Right? Just hit the subscribe button on YouTube and just go to Art School Live on YouTube. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. We, of course, want to grow this because the more people who learn about painting, there's a whole lot of people out there who just don't believe it. They don't believe they can do it. And we do believe you can do it. And it's a matter of getting under good teachers like Janet, who she has made it understandable. She simplified it. And it's very, very accomplishable. Is that a word? And you can do this. Obviously, you're going to have to struggle. You're going to have a little pain, but at least you're painting, and that's fun. And our goal here at Art School Live is to simplify, to help you understand. Every day we have something different. We might be teaching you like how to paint a flower or a tree or a nose or a portrait or a face or a landscape. I mean, we touch on all of it every weekday at 12 noon Eastern time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my producer, Allie, for working today. And happy painting, everybody. Bye-bye.